My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is March 5th, 2023. It is 12:48 a.m. Let's go on Twitter. A lot to share with you. Alright, so I saw these. There's two of them, I believe. YouGov poll in UK. So I thought I'd share some of them with you. Alright, YouGov tonight, Harry and Meghan. So it says here, as you may know, Prince Harry and Meghan have made a number of accusations about the way they were treated by other members of the royal family before and after their move to the United States. Do you think their account is probably completely true, mostly untrue, completely untrue? Don't know. The reason I wanted to share that with you is the question that they're asking, and of course what some Twitters are saying. Okay, who answered these online polls? Probably people with very little to do in their lives. I started replying because I suffer from long COVID and other ailments and had to stay home isolated for many months. It was a distraction. Let's see here. Who determine who is able to respond? Is there a criteria? I'm sorry about long COVID. It's awful. Thank you for caring about my health. Initially, YouGov asks you your age, sex, marital status, sexual orientation. Oh my God, that's really personal. Phew. Education, employment status, and people are selected to respond accordingly. As a thank you, one gets £50. Really? £50 gift card after answering 100 questions? What? 100 times? I never replied to so many. What in the name they pay you to respond? Wow. And I think a while back, and I think someone was saying they really pick and choose who they ask certain question based on your criteria. Like, for instance, some of the questions they ask you your age, sex, marital status, sexual orientation. You know, when they ask you those little bits and personal questions, they select certain question for you, and they will know, they will have a sense of what you will say. That way, when they come with their data, they will say this is certain people who say certain thing. Okay, these polls are so stupid, especially since they are all run by Rottweiler, Queen's son. Yeah. I think Camilla's son is running that. After this, that's it. Why not keep it simple? True, false, I don't know. The option pigeonhole the result. Most true sounds like a half lie. Mostly false is completely lie. These are not option for the truth. Yep. And then they'll make the decision based on your question. Based on your answer. There's another one here. Alright, there's another YouGov question. Here are some pairs of statements. In each case, please say which you agree with more. A. The monarchy is a valuable force for stability and continuity. B. The monarchy is part of a colonial past that has no place in the UK. Statement A, statement B. Alright, so there's me here. How could A be the answer? They are creating chaos rather than focusing on their charitable work. If they wanted stability, they should not create all those nonsense they keep creating, Harry and Meghan issues. They should mind their business. Stability will be for them to speak against the wrong. Alright, someone says B. Alright, so let's go to the other one. It's eviction. Oh my God, my computer is slow today. What's going on? Alright. Forgetting for 1 second that Buckingham Palace is a construction site, King Charles said, quote, evict my son from the home his grandmother gifted him and let him and his mixed-race family sleep in the stables or a shelter, wherever on the property. Wow. And you telling me, and they want Harry back? Exclusive, King Charles will offer Prince Harry and Meghan a Buckingham Palace apartment when they visit UK and Olive Branch after kicking them out of Frogmore Cottage. When was that? The 4th, yesterday, 23. What? By Kate Menzies and Charlotte Griffith for the Mail on Sunday. Okay, why Prince Charles and other royal family members secretly dislike Buckingham Palace. When was that? January 27, 2019. Okay. Asbestos and rodent are among the palace's many charms. Wow. And this is where they want Harry and Meghan to stay. Okay, imagine removing someone from a servant quarters they transform and renovated to a rat-infested apartment. Let's see, The Sussexes were offered the apartment and Buckingham Palace so William and Charles can keep an eye. Yep, that's what I think too. They could keep an eye on them to see their move, because there was a while back there was something, I don't know if it was true or not, but they were saying that William was gonna move somewhere near the ground of Frogmore or something like that. And I remember saying, and you know, within the comments I remember responding, they just want him to be closer to Harry so that he could see when Harry comes in and out, you know, because at that time Harry will come and visit the Queen, nobody knows. Okay, so because of that, that was before the Queen passed, so because of that they're moving closer. Now that the Queen no longer there, Charles is making the decision, and I don't know why he thought this is right. I mean, I know his crazy fans are okay with it because they're inflicting pain onto Harry, but this was a gift that was gifted to him. And then he spent his own money, you know, for the renovation because of those chaos, unnecessary nonsense they were creating, meaning the tabloid and along with, you know, the royal family making noise in the background. So he decided, along with Meghan, to pay the money back so they could leave him alone. But no, I'm telling you, these people love trouble. All right. Yeah, they really wanted to keep an eye on him so they could see what he's doing, and then they could easily say they, you know, whatever it is that they want to say about him, so they could say nonsense to the tabloid. Oh man, I can't wait until they get what they deserve, the royal family, because they love to inflict pain onto people. Okay, so William and Charles can keep an eye on what they are doing. Remember, William and Charles have a contract with the British media, so with the Sussexes so close, they can get all kinds of information on them for the British media. Yep, that's exactly that. They're just keeping digging that hole deeper and deeper. Every olive branch is another slap in the face. If I were Harry and Meghan, I will answer, evicted us, we stand by your eviction, you do not need us, bye, period. That's a good way of responding to it. Let's go to the next one. Next tweet. Oh my god, my computer is very slow. Alright, so this is about the Zoom call Harry had with, there was a doctor, he had a Zoom meeting. I didn't watch it. Okay, Dr. Gabor Mate agrees with me, kinda, when he said he wasn't interested and in fact hesitate to read the book because of the royal drama, but he was taken in by the human aspect of Harry's story. Okay, I guess from listening to other people who were talking about it, then he decided to read it. So if he didn't want to know about the drama, the royal family drama, how did he know that the book was about, you know, to incline him to read it, and then for him to find out it's about human aspect of Harry's story? Yet the UK media wants you to the interest in Harry because of his royal connection. Okay, so she retweeted herself January 3rd. Okay, I can't wait to read Spare by Prince Harry. Once again, the duplicitous UK media is trying to rile people, promising bombshells and attacks, but a reminder that we are getting a human story, not a royal story. And if that makes says William look bad, maybe he is just a bad person. Okay, so that's when the media, the UK media, was saying all those nonsense about Harry, the book, before it, well, the book had already came out. All right, so I go into her January 3rd tweet here. I just read that, and she retweeted herself again in December 5th, 2022. Okay, I am laughing at the fact that the entire monarchy and their press friends' response is, quote, "Those are stock images and are not evidence of bad behavior toward you, but what are we doing to other people?" Again, it's a human story, not a royal story, so thanks for confirming it. So she wrote about this way back. Okay, I can't wait to read it as well. This keeps rearing its head. The truth will out. Okay, so that's someone who responded. Yahoo.com. Prince William attended a former girlfriend's wedding as an alleged affair. Okay, I think that's what it says. This article has been updated since its initial published date. Prince William left the wife and kids at home and quietly attended his ex. I don't know. Let's move on. This is some old tweet she retweeted, and then it's making sense pretty much. She's proving herself to be right. Next one. Oh my god, my line is very slow. Okay, spare Prince Harry. So she retweeted that. Okay, I'm happy for him. So let's go into that. This is what she retweeted, and it looks like it's a thread. Yep, it's a thread. Okay, so where's the one? Okay, Harry says he really wanted the book to be an act of service, said it needed to be, giving people permission to talk about their own stuff. He says he didn't really know himself to start with. Okay, so it's a long thread. It looks like she goes on. Wow, I didn't know it was that long. So since I did not listen to the thing, this is the conversation Harry had. Okay, so let's read her thread because I didn't listen to it, so that will give me an insight of what this thing was about. Hopefully she's telling the truth. Okay, we are live. Okay, Prince Harry and Dr. Gabor Mate talk has officially started. Follow along below for updates. Okay, so that's good. So she wrote a thread about it. Prince Harry says he does not look for sympathy, doesn't see himself as a victim in his life, jokes he's not looking forward to becoming 40. Okay, says vulnerability helps so many people, talks about people sharing about his life outside of his control, says it feels like, quote, an act of service, end quote, to share. Okay, so pretty much she's really, I think these are quotes from Harry and the doctor. Mate says Harry said he felt like live in a bubble until he started therapy. Harry says he could have been one bubble or multiple bubbles, like boy in the bubble. Says his awareness to his own story was distorted, perhaps because of his environment I was confined in. Yep. What is it on? Yeah, actually this channel I have I think a journalism kind of thing. I was doing a research and I said something like they live in a fishbowl world of lies. So this is the thing that Harry's saying here. They live in a bubble of a bubble. Okay, Harry talks about being diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, worked with a therapist to unpack 12-year-old Harry when his mother died. He was scared of losing the feeling he had of his mom. That therapy will cure him of that. He says the opposite happened. The sadness he had to prove to her that he missed her became happiness. Also, for your information, for anyone following along, I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I'm paraphrasing quotes as this is a live event. They are not direct quotes. Okay, so that's good to know. Like I said at the beginning, she's quoting what is said. So she's making it clear. She's paraphrasing what they say. And it's really hard to, as you're listening and then you're typing, it will be hard to actually get the exact quote, unless if you record it and you stop and you listen. All right, let's continue. Mate talks about Harry being left alone after Charles tells him his mom has died, touches his leg and then leaves. That was in the book Spare as well. Mate brings up lack of touching in the book. not able to hug Queen Elizabeth II, no hugs after coming back from Afghanistan. Mate says is a multiple generational pattern. Yeah, heavy on lack of touching in his own life, says his mother's his kids with love and affection, feels a huge responsibility not to pass on any traumas I had to my kids. Harry says there are times he catch himself in moment when he should be smothering them with love. Yes, I think I've spoke to in some aspect of these kind of things as well. When you realize you're doing something in the moment, it's very powerful, because when you're living life, you go through, not everybody really stop and reflect on some of the things that they're doing. Usually it's afterward, when everything is said and done, you sit back and you're thinking and you, oh man, I could have done that. But in the moment, it's really hard. This is not easy. It's really hard. In the moment you are doing it, you realize exactly what you're doing and how it will affect you later on, or the people you are talking to in the present. This is very powerful. Okay. Mate says it's imperative not to pass on trauma to our kids. Mate says, can you imagine Archie and Lilibet not getting that affection? Heavy says he's grateful to have been able to change his environment, which he realizes not everyone can do because of resources. Not only that, this just remind me in the book where Harry was saying there was some discussion between him and Meghan, and then things got a little bit heated and Meghan removed herself from the space. I guess Meghan didn't like what Harry said, and then after 15 minutes when Harry realized Meghan is not there, he went to look for her, and he realized where she was in the bed sitting down, and then they have that talk where Meghan said, if you want to raise, I'm paraphrasing now, if you want to raise a family, that kind of attitude, I don't want it, this kind of thing. So all of this play into it for Harry to change, because this is the first time I think he ever had someone who really telling him exactly how it is. All right, let's continue. Harry says he's, quote, lost a lot, end quote, in this process, and also gained a lot in seeing kids growing up in California. Yeah, like the royal family. I mean, look at this. If the royal family wanted to patch things up, okay, to make things better, the thing that Charles just did to him here, I mean, since the book Spare came out, evicted him from a house his grandmother gifted to him, and Harry spent his own money to rebuild the property. If this person, if this father wanted to rebuild some sort of a relationship, I could understand, because it's not me, okay? Whatever it is that Charles feel personally affected by what Harry said, guess what? This could have been discussed and said, I did not like this or this and that, but privately. All this privately could have been discussed. Okay? And then try to move on forward. But as we move forward, look at this. Harry was evicted since, what is it? Is it January 11 or December 11 or something like that? I remember it was the day after Spare, so it probably December 11, right? So throughout that, since that January or December 11, we never heard anything about it. Harry never brought it up. But now certain things are happening to Charles that he doesn't like, not with him and Harry anymore. I mean, the book have already been out. Whatever feeling he has regarding the book already been there. But now out of nowhere, because he keeps on doing stupid things and the tabloid is not treating him well, or the headlines or whatever it is, but it's its own doing. But he felt like this should come out now. So if you want to build a relationship, why keep on stirring things up, put salt to injury, this kind of thing, instead of trying to create a bridge? Instead, he's burning the bridges. I don't know if I explain myself well, but the royal family is not looking to patch things, to make amends, to move forward with Harry. I don't think so. Okay, but instead they keep on creating chaos after chaos after chaos. As a matter of fact, they're preventing Harry from moving forward. In a way, I think it's good, so Harry could just stay away, because these people are toxic. All right, let's continue. Moving helped give him and Meghan much more agency to be able to bring kids up in a way that is beneficial for them. I think so too. Mate says Harry's book, quote, was a story of deprivation. Very interesting. There's a lot of little response within all of them. Mate, but I want to focus on the thread. Mate says not deprivation in a power or privilege way, but mention Harry having lack of love between parents, lack of conflicts, infidelity, emotionally distant father as how he was raised. Talks of Harry not being hugged, says animals hug their kids. It's true. Okay, Harry mentioned first thing we do as parents, skin to skin. Yeah, we saw the picture, the images on the docu-series of deprivation. Harry says, quote, we only know what we know. Obviously, you cannot teach things you don't know. That is true. Okay, Harry talks of breaking a cycle, which isn't easy. You don't make friends in the process. The main thing is, once you know yourself and your partner what you want, you know your goal, just focus on your goal. That's it. Your path will be clear for you, because that way you will see all the negativity that surround you. You'll say, okay, this person is not for me. I mean, you don't need to tell the person face to face. You just know to just stay away. You just stay away. That's all. Okay? You will know your path. Just like the video that I did yesterday where I put that maze. The other day I was doing the video, I couldn't think of the word maze. Okay, you can like the maze, you will know your path, so don't worry about it. Once you know yourself, your partner, you know your objective, nothing to worry about, and everything else will fall into place. Okay, Mate talks death of a parent, divorce, conflicts, and Harry not being held, understood, or heard, and feeling, quote, a lot of suffering. Yeah, Harry has been saying all this stuff, okay? Even with the tabloid, he wants that separation of privacy and all of that, but they don't want to listen. And then when Harry finally act on some of the things he's been saying, they all look shocked. Yeah, Harry been saying all of this. Mate says what struck him in the book was absolute universal humanity of it. Absolute. Harry says he felt different to his family, strange being in this container. Says he knows his mom felt the same. Quote, felt as though my body was in there, my head was out. I mean, again, Harry has been saying it. Even before Meghan came into the picture, I think I've heard before where he wanted to be out. He's been saying that, so no surprise here. Harry says he really wanted the book to be an act of service, says it need to be. Giving people permission to talk about their own stuff. He says he didn't really know himself to start with. And I think it's to that where with Meghan had to point certain things out to him. All right. Harry says he felt free during trip to Africa. That's why he wanted to go there. Every chance that he gets, that's where he goes. People would tell him exactly how it is. Mate says freedom comes up a lot in Harry's book. Harry says freedom feels great and felt huge weight off his shoulders after the book came out. What is it? Omid had the title of the book correct, Finding Freedom. So that's that. Okay, Harry says a lot of families are complicated and dysfunctional. Says when he was doing therapy, he suddenly realized I learned a new language. Says people he was surrounded by didn't speak that language. That's what I'm saying. Okay, once you know who you are, what you're all about, and what your goal is, everything will be clear to you. When you know this is what you want, and then people around you are saying different things, you're gonna know these are not the people for you. You're gonna keep your distance.
I don't want to say it's refreshing, but it is nice to know that kids that young have an appreciation and understanding greater than some of the people who have been on this planet for 60, 70 years. I've been a pessimist many times because of the work that we end up doing. You can be surrounded by negativity sometimes.
Okay, once you know who you are, what you're all about, and what your goal is, everything will be clear to you. When you know this is what you want, and then people around you are saying different things, you're gonna know these are not the people for you. You're gonna keep your distance.
For all of us, all we want to do is be able to
carry out the right engagements, carry out our work, and try and encourage others and the younger generation to be able to see the world in the correct sense, rather than perhaps being having a distorted view.
Okay, once you know who you are, what you're all about, and what your goal is, everything will be clear to you. When you know this is what you want, and then people around you are saying different things, you're gonna know these are not the people for you. You're gonna keep your distance.
I think I wouldn't say it changed my outlook on life, but there were certainly experiences that I went through during those 10 years that not only was I surrounded by normal people on a day-to-day basis and being able to share and talk about everyday issues that they were going through, but it was a grounding moment for me as well. You know, wearing the same uniform as all of the people that I was serving with, getting an opportunity to serve your country on operations, but also being part of a family.
One thing for sure, I've said on PYTE, some of those videos, what's his name? The one he plays polo with, okay? And I've always said, the family aspect of it, Nacho, that's it, Nacho. The family aspect of Nacho, I think this is something he was admired and inspired to have. Okay, I'm not saying jealous. Maybe there probably some jealousy here, because not jealousy because I guess because he did not have that, and therefore, so that was a model for him, and said, this is what I want. I've said this before, and I think this is in the same aspect. I mean, he didn't say it here, but I think this is it. All right, there's that. He felt distant with family as he did therapy. Talk about being spiked versus Prince Harry. Says he was giving impression to everyone that he was happy, but he wasn't happy. Spare Prince Harry and conversation with Dr. Gabor Mate. Alright, Harry says he was a fantastic candidate for rugby and the military as a military recruit from Buckingham Palace. Mate says Harry had self-loaded. Harry says it was self-doubt instead. Harry says he went to military instead of college and found opportunities that he thrived at. I mean, this is a giving as well. We should not be surprised by that. Harry always said he never liked school. He never really liked sitting there, and they thought because of that he wasn't smart. But instead, I mean, college is not for everybody. I spoke about this many times. For some of you who are new to this channel, I have another channel which is having some issues with YouTube right now, and it's demonetized. There's a lot of videos where I've said a lot of things in there, so you could go subscribe to that. Hopefully I plan on going back to it. This channel is a backup channel to that channel, all right, while it is being demonetized. All right, there's that. Mate says he doesn't. Okay, let's start here. Harry says he went to military instead of college and found opportunities that he thrived at. Mate says he doesn't particularly align with the invasion of Afghanistan. Talks about Harry's feeling normal and military situation. Well, when you are a soldier, you don't make those decisions. Okay, you take command from someone higher up. So I don't think Harry has any say on that. You just need to do what he was told. I mean, a lot of us could have their personal feeling about it. I'm not saying that. But when it comes to being a soldier, because that's what Harry was, he was a soldier. So he can't really make... The only time he could make his own decision is when he's in the battlefield. Okay? Where he's seeing things as is happening, where he has to make a choice. This is where his own personal feeling matters right now. Make a choice. But sending him where he has to make the choice, it's already been determined for him already. Okay? Harry, one of the reasons why so many in the UK were not supportive of our troops was because they assumed everyone who was serving was for the war, saying that's not true. Harry says there were a lot of us who didn't necessarily agree or disagree, but were doing what they signed up to do. You see, this is what I was saying. I didn't even read that. This is exactly what I was saying. Mate says he diagnosed Harry with ADD. Harry says, quote, should I accept that or should I look into it? with a laugh. Mate says it's a normal reaction to stress. Says Harry has a lot of stress in his life. Okay, Harry says there's a lot of stress in everyone's lives. Jokes, he's having a free session with Mate. Wonderful. Harry says with a smile. Mate says trauma can be healed at any age. That's encouraging, says Harry. And then when you look at his parents, well, not parents, his parent, Charles, still causing him pain. So if Harry wants healing, he just needs right now to just completely black his father, because his father, and the tabloid as well, completely black it, because when you look into it, this is something that could cause more stress. When Harry is looking for a father figure, hoping to have a family kind of thing, but there's Charles here stirring the pot again. So Charles is a toxic thing for him right now if Harry's trying to look for healing, especially when he has his own kids to be worrying about, because sometimes you won't even know it. And thank God I recognize it and put a stop to it. Certain things that you watch or you are dealing with without knowing, you could take those negative energy into your kids. You'll be yelling at your kids without knowing why you're yelling at them. So this is the thing. He just needs to remove himself, disconnect himself with his father, because his father is creating more stressful environment. All right, let's continue. Maid says it's normal reaction to stress. Says Harry has a lot of stress in his life. Definitely. Harry says there's a lot of stress in everyone's life. Okay, I read these. Where was I? Maid says trauma can be healed at any age. That's encouraging, says Harry. Harry says acknowledgement is brought by fear and getting over trauma. Harry says acknowledgement. When you know something, like I was saying, when you're in the moment, you know something, is brought by fear and getting over trauma. Very interesting. There's something powerful in this, but I can't get it. I can't really pinpoint it. Something powerful in this. Okay, Mate says getting over the fear means healing can begin. Harry says he was scared of so much. Okay, he was scared of so much. Says he let go of sadness, of grief, never want to lose feeling of his mom. Harry says fear was a control force in his life, now has choices in his life. Fear was a control force. I mean, yeah, you know, for instance, there's a fire. If you put your hand in the fire, it will burn. So what was he afraid of? Afraid of, I don't know. Well, he did say the fear of the feeling of his mother. He didn't want to lose that, but what else? Okay, I think I get it now that I'm editing. The fear that he was having, which was controlling him, which was the tabloid. You know how the tabloid will, I guess, frame certain things. If you do this, or else, I'll write this on the tabloid, on the paper, or if you don't do this, this is gonna come out. So that give and take kind of thing. So that was the control factor of things. So once he let go of that, there was no more fear. Okay, you want to print this? By all means, print it. Then I'll deal with it once it come out. This kind of thing. So it's the tabloid that was the control force. So he was afraid of the tabloid to say or write or for people to know certain things about him. So once he let go of that, once you realize you are human, you make mistakes, things can happen. There are people who are compassionate, will understand your situation. There's some people who will be forgiving. They'll be upset at you, but some will forgive you. So once you know different type of emotion of things, you just let go, because you can't let somebody be controlling of you where you can't even enjoy your own life. Once you let go and say, F it. You write it. Once it come out, I'll deal with the pressure. I'll deal with people's backlash or all of this kind of thing. I think that's what it is now. Now that I'm editing it, now I understand. Okay, maybe he means something else, but based on some of the things that I'm aware of him, maybe that's what it was. He could, like I said, it could be completely different, but this is how I'm interpreting it. And just remember, this thread, it's not the full context of things. She just takes paraphrasing part of the conversation and put it on Twitter, so I'm interpreting it in my own sense. All right, so let's get back to the original recording. Let me move on because there's it's very deep. I think this is very deep here. I became aware of the situation of my environment. Now there's a choice. Okay, some of the things that I was saying, I'm telling you, I wasn't a very good student in psychology because if you heard some of my videos before, I took Psychology 101. Not that I wanted to take it, it was part of my curriculum. Okay, one of my electives I must take in order for me to graduate. So I took that. And I almost failed it because I was asking too many questions. It's like one question raise another question, where I can really pinpoint the thing. And I think I was getting on my professor's nerve because certain things were not making sense to me. So I almost fell. And then I gave up when I realized I was going to fail. And I memorized things and spit things right back to her because it seemed like that's all she wanted, instead of trying to understand reasoning. Okay, reasoning of things. But then again, when you look at it, you have people who study these things for years, and there's me taking Psychology 101 to think that I know it all. It's just certain things were not making sense to me. Okay, psychology is a very, very deep, field. It's very deep, so that's something I don't want to get into. All right, and this is why I keep on saying, why did Kate decided to deal with children's brain, especially when children can't even majority of children cannot express their thoughts. So why would you even want to go there? Sometimes you can't even understand people who's telling you what they're saying, but to go into children who having a hard time developing their own feelings. So anyway, let's continue with this. Then want fear to keep him and his environment. He need to change it despite the risk was risk worth taking. Harry talks about anxiety and panic. Every time he walked into a room felt it was 2 degrees warmer for him. The moment he found someone sweating more than him, he will stop and talk. Harry says since age 12, he was in state of shock and fight for flight. This is something they talk about a lot in psychology too. Okay, fight or flight. Harry wishes he knew about nervous system regulation, says it's always been the core of my problem. Talks about emotional regulation as well. Mate says trauma is the one, not the event. Harry talks about depression. Wow, I would love to hear this because this will go more into detail. Harry talks about depression, says it's been small, short bouts, says he was grateful for the experience to be able to understand those who go through it, says it was horrible at the time, says disadvantage to empathy and feeling too much sometimes. This is why he's so good at being in charity, to do those charitable causes, because he understands people's feeling, the pain that they're going through. Empathy. Harry says he felt numb for so long and it switched and he needs to figure out how to regulate things. Harry asks about medication and depression. Mate says he's taking it himself and it's helped him. Mate says problem with medication, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Harry talks about differences in PTSD versus post-traumatic injury. Injury versus disorder is extremely important to him. Importance of certain words and label. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be 1,000,000% wrong on that. With the post-traumatic stress syndrome came about, I think, after not too long ago. I think in the 80s or 90s or something like that. After when I think the Vietnam War, people were coming out, things were happening, and it took a long time to figure out why many of those vets were drinking, they were homeless and all of that. And I think it's to some of those vets the PTSD came into. I could look into it when I'm editing. Injury versus disorder is extremely important to him. Importance of certain words and labels. Okay, that remind me something that he said in the Obama thing here when he was talking to Melody Hobson. When he went to one of those charities, he didn't want to go there and said, because I'm this person, I'm a prince, I'm gonna go there and say this is the way you're supposed to do it. But instead, he listened to the people and asked them what did they want him to do. And then one of the thing was to remove certain label about certain things. If I find that clip, I'll put it.
I don't think that's necessarily beneficial to anybody, but you know, our mental health campaign, Heads Together, back in the UK, is a classic example. We were able to bring together 8 mental health charities that have been working in the sector for many, many, many years. But being able to bring them together and say, right, you guys have never sat around a table together and discussed the main issues. What we want to be able to do now is, through our foundation, create a platform in which your expertise and your experience is elevated. And therefore, you tell us what needs to be done around mental health within the UK and globally. And they said, if you can remove the stigma, that makes our life a lot easier. So that's exactly what we did. We tried to remove the stigma and tried to normalize the discussion around mental health.
All right, Mate talks about Harry dabbling in substances. Harry says some substances, seemingly cocaine, did nothing. Wow. Others give a sense of belonging, says marijuana helped them. Says alcohol for him is more of a social thing, felt left out if he ever didn't drink. But who was giving him cocaine and all of that? My goodness. Mate talks about importance of emphasizing there's a reason people use substances. Mate talks about 5 modes of healing Harry engage in. Of therapy, Harry says it's a great, I would love to know what those 5 modes are or were that they talk about. Of therapy, Harry says, quote, it's great, it's necessary. For so much of my life, I fawned upon it. Harry wish I had that source of offering sooner. All right. Oh my God, it's very long. How much more? All right, it's almost done. Says nature is another mode of healing, helps him feel connected and free. Wants his kids to be outdoors a lot. Mate mentioned meditation is an important practice for Harry. Harry said he doesn't do it enough. Okay, Harry says psychedelics was cleaning of the windshield, removing the fog in his eyes, and a removal of life fillers. Yep. Brought me a sense of relaxation, release, comfort, a lightness that I managed to hold on to for a period of time. Started doing it recreationally, realized how good it was for me. Talks about, there's something I want to say but I don't want to say. Talks about needing support for psychedelics because a lot can come out for certain people. Mate brings up Harry's relationship and his growth and healing. Harry says Meghan has played a huge role in his life and healing, say he was stuck in this world. Harry says though, none of the elements of my life now would have been possible without me seeing it for myself. That's the thing. Once you know for yourself, that's the thing I was saying, then you'll see the clear path for yourself. Harry says, my partner is an exceptional human being and I am eternally grateful for the wisdom and space she's been able to give me. Okay, that's the thing. Meghan have compassion and is able to understand Harry. Once Harry opened up to her, and I think the empathy came out of Meghan and to be able to understand Harry. So if Harry was holding back, pretend everything is fine, or pretend to be the person that Meghan wants him to be, then there would be a problem. But once he opened up to Meghan, show Meghan his true self, how he behaved, how certain things, he does certain things. Like for instance, when that discussion they were having and certain things came out, Meghan was able to see Harry for who he is and say, I don't want this from you. And then Harry have to look into himself and said, I need to change. I need something. I need to be better human being for her. And then it's through that, the back and forth, knowing and understanding and knowing that he's going through some stuff and help him, guide him, and all of this. It's a process. It's a process. So I think I understand them. All right, Harry said, my partner is an exceptional human being, and I'm eternally grateful for the wisdom and space she's been able to give me. Mate says both Harry and Meghan come from broken families, said it's not a coincidence they found each other. I don't know. I think it's a coincidence because when you look at two different people, two different continents, two separate social life, two separate everything, two separate of everything. How in the universe were they able to find? It's a miracle. We will never know, but whatever it is, it worked. We accept it, and they both accept it. We're moving forward with it. All right, so that's that. Mate brings up Harry's understanding of racism and inequality to Meghan. Yeah, he said it when he was doing that interview with Hutchinson. It's on Pt1, and he said he will never. There's absolutely no way he would have seen certain things that he was seeing if it wasn't through his Meghan's eyes. All right, so he understands that. All right, inequality to Meghan. Mate says racism isn't just an emotional pain, but it causes inflammation in the body. Yeah, I mean, it boils you in a way where sometimes it makes you react. All right, and the thing is that it's the people who's inflicting the pain onto others that. But anyway, that's a different conversation. Let's move on. Harry says he had a crash course in racism to Meghan. He says it was pretty shocking and surprised to see what she went through. Said he was naive. Yeah, this, I'm not surprised by that. Okay, he said it in that interview, Hutchinson. Go on Pt1. I have it there. Says people don't understand the pain that it causes to an individual and a society. And look at our society around the world. The racism that's going on. It seems like the world is running through racism. And I've said in some videos where they created racism where black people, their skin color become a passport to be mistreated, to be excluded of whatever it may be. All right, Harry says he's made his own mistake in the past, which he's on and acknowledged. And I think he's talking about the uniform, this thing. He's making reference to that. Says he's grateful for those experiences because he had to grow from it and learn from it. What did I say? Well, the thumbnail that I created with it, he was taught and she made him aware. That's how I titled that video where with the swastikas uniform thing. Time for Q&A from the audience member. Now, Mate is reading the question. Question is not live. Oh, very interesting. Harry says he doesn't want people to be afraid or worried of people seeing reaction to him sharing his story. Harry says his editors suggest he read his book Amazon review. Very interesting. Oh, one of the squad tweeted about that. I need to go to Amazon and read it too. Says, quote, you take a risk by being so open and vulnerable. I mean, people with good sense, good mind will understand. Because there's some stuff that I read where people have read the book and it opened people's eyes. So I guess it target, as long it help one person is good enough. But so far, I think it have helped a lot of people. So he did his job. Harry says he enjoyed being vulnerable because I know that it's going to help other people. Says he can take it, criticism, because he knows it could help others. Harry on practicing self-compassion. Quote, I get a huge amount of healing by helping others. This is a giving. He said it in the Obama Foundation where he said he get a lot of, what did he put it? Not compassion, he used a different word by seeing the kids and all of that. If I find that, I'll put it in there.
I get all of my passion, inspiration and energy from young people, and that is from the ages of 6 or 7 in the Caribbean, when you get a 6-year-old turning around to you and telling you exactly how much damage your country and the developed world is causing them, all the way to 28, 30-year-olds who at some point in their life have already a better understanding of duty and service than I ever did at that age. because it's all about giving back. So yeah, I think that, look, lots of people say that, oh, your job of traveling the world is wonderful. Of course it's wonderful. But when we get sent to some countries, we don't always get to see the beautiful parts. We're always there trying to deal with some of the issues, but also doing everything we can to bring people together to make change, to make positive change. And it's an absolute joy and a privilege to meet the younger generation of change makers across the world who genuinely believe in the fact that they, as a single person and as a group and as a community and as a nation, not only can change their country, but can change the world as well. And that is what keeps me going on a day-to-day basis.
If I find that quote. Says, expression of always putting your mask on before helping others is so true. Important to look after yourself to help others. Say he experienced burnout. Mate says it's important to notice when you're not being compassionate to yourself. That's for sure. Okay, question is, do you think grief and joy can coexist? Grief and joy. I think so. Okay, Harry says he's learning over the years the grieving process is essential and we're not encouraged to do it. What is it? When he wanted to cry for his mom, they told him not to, this kind of thing. If we can grieve, it is a very human experience. The more we can grieve, the more joy that we will probably feel. That's for sure. Okay, so now, oh shit, there's more. I thought I was done. Harry brings up, if doctors get paid more, if they prescribe bills, then appear to say, let's stick to the question. Harry brings up distinction between drugs made from earth versus drug made in lab. May talk about huge difference between modern drug versus traditional medicine. Oh my God, some very good question. I wish I had followed it. Harry says, I'm glad I asked the question. Question is, number one, is raising kind kids. Harry says, answer is love and to let them be themselves. Harry and Meghan focus on allowing kids to have moment of frustration and talking to them about it after. That's on one of my videos not too long ago. I remember talking about when my kids were young, when we at the park, they want to cry and scream and all of that. I let them be, and I apologized to the people in the park and said, I'd rather them do it there instead of the apartment where I have to worry about my neighbors. I let them be and then apologize, and then afterward I talked to them about it and said, are you done? Now let's go. All right, and then I use my tone of voice. Okay, tone of voice to tell your kids certain things without being physical with them. Okay, Harry says love and energy in the house is important. If there is a disagreement between parents, take it to another room. Yep, that I truly agree. Always. A lot of time when my husband and I are saying, or if my husband is saying something to my son that I disagree, I give him an eye. And then later on, we talk about it. Says your kids pick up on your energy more than you will ever know. Harry says 7 or 8 years ago, he knew nothing about energy. There's a lot of things about energy. Question: it's certain people who walks into a room, you could feel their energy as well too. All right. Question: what will you say to men and boys struggling with mental health? There was a session that President Obama did. Go to his how do you call this? Go to his Obama Foundation YouTube channel. There's a conversation he have with young men, young boys. It was very powerful. I don't know if you guys subscribe to President Obama YouTube channel. For a lot of time, some good stuff come up. Well, majority of the time, the videos are very powerful.
I'm affiliated with the Center Sierra Health Foundation, and you both already kind of touched up on it, but from the time boys and men of color are born, we're given this this narrow definition of what it means to be a man, and how can we begin to change the narrative that is currently forcing us to follow a path that doesn't align with our identities, including our brothers are a part of the LGBTQ+ community.
Harry says He shares his story to help those in similar position. Says he feels better, stronger than he has before. Heavy says he's found a strength and vulnerability. Heavy says he wants to be the best self-dad, husband, which means being vulnerable and strong. Last two question now. Question, which is the one footprint you want to leave behind one day? Very interesting. Heavy says his purpose is, quote, do not be controlled by fear. Do not allow fear to control you, which is freedom. I think that was a reference to the royal family. Last question. As a royal child, did you get to roam the castle freely, and did you find any trapdoors? Oh my God, this is something, I hope he answered it, because she put it here, because many times there's one thing I could never really picture. A lot of time I bring my humble opinion here and there, but one thing I could not picture myself, a young boy after his mom passed, a child in the castle by himself. I could not really imagine this. This is one thing I could not imagine. This it's always blocked in my brain. Okay, people could say many humble opinions. I could never come up with an answer to that. So let's see if he answered this. Heavy said it was an adventure running around that kind of a place. For some reason, I think that something happened. Something happened. Maybe I don't know. Let me leave it as that. Okay, so Heavy says it was an adventure running around that kind of a place. Okay, says there's a lot of trap doors, but some secret cupboards and doorways, but nothing as cool as a book unsealing a cool room. He says this is a good thing, as he would have probably gotten stuck and said room. Okay, the live talk and Q&A has concluded. Okay, my keyboard is on fire. I need some lunch. Thanks for following along. Okay, so she sort of hit certain point here and there. So it's something I would love to listen completely. All right, let's see. There's 73 question here. Giving people permission, that's end quote, but most people don't do that in the public eye, disparaging their families and people who once were their friend. It's all self-serving. It's not service. What? I'll go into that. No one needs his permission. OMG, the arrogance of this man is mind-boggling. Okay, permission for what? So what is it, what this person is talking about? So this goes both ways. He's talking about himself. So this is the thing that his family is upset about, because he's talking about himself, but yet they want him to get permission from them. But I mean, these people are something. Let me go into this. Okay, what are you talking about? All memoir release or release into the public? That's what I'm talking. I'm kind of confused with these responses. He's saying by exposing his family issue, he's talking about his experience. His experience. Are these people really that delusional? He's saying by exposing his family issues publicly via book that he's helping people. His experience. To also express themselves, that's not the same, and most of it is just condemning his family or people he met along the way. Yes, publicly, he did not have to expose so much in hurtful ways. I mean, if this is the truth, this is his experience. Okay, are you tired of spreading misinformation? Go do something productive with your time. Okay, there's that. What the hell are you talking about, lady? Please go back to reading Rupert Murdoch's tabloid and stay out of intellectual, psychological, stimulating discussion. Why are you here? Protecting and making excuses for abusers. Okay, show me the discussion that's going on. I actually have to heard some very good interviews Mate has gone. I mean, you're reading the lady, all the thread that I just read here, the lady specifically said she's paraphrasing, okay, of certain things that was said. And as I was reading, I was like, oh, I would like to hear more of what he said. Okay, she just paraphrasing certain things. Too funny the way you choose to characterize this. Oh my God. Let's see. Most people were not in public eyes and used by their family as a scapegoat or leak stories about them to the public. Charles also disparaged his family and his own biography. Remember, or you have a selective brain. Most people don't have stepmother that lives and destroy them. I don't want to read the headlines here. Okay, abusers are going to abuse. Thank goodness Prince Harry made clear the more he's attacked for speaking on this, the more he's inspired to continue speaking, so people like me are so discouraged from talking about my trauma. Okay, spare event. Okay, and you are here spreading hate and misinformation about him again. Haha, get a life. Okay, so I'm done with this. I can't believe I read all of them. It's almost an hour. There's more thing regarding this. Let's see what other people are saying. Maybe I should squeeze everything on that. Yeah, maybe I should do that. Oh, so people take, okay. Oh, okay, so this is here. Okay, there's Omid here. Fascinating and powerful convo between Harry and Dr. Gabor Mate, and gotta say, brave to do it live and so publicly. Mate didn't tiptoe around the big topic or mince words, and as a result, provided one of the most revealing insight into Harry, who clearly know his stuff today. All right, let's go into that. Okay, Prince Harry will join physician, and okay, so he's retweeting himself. Okay, so there's that. Prince Harry will join physician and author Dr. Gabor Mate for Vimeo live stream event on March 4th, which was yesterday, to discuss living with loss and the importance of personal healing, following by audience Q&A, which is what I just read here. I didn't do the thing here. All right, so this is that. You could pause it, and that's this. What else are they saying? Registered, shut up, and take my money. Okay. Will he also be asked if it's right to take his children away from the British and American family? What the fuck? That's his child. He gets to do whatever he wants with his children. What kind of question is that? Or what pain this public truth has caused the family and former friend? I mean, well, right now Harry's trying to heal himself. So what this has to do with other people? The thing is that he already experienced the bad side of the royal life. Okay, so he's taking his family out of it. He doesn't want his kids to experience that. This is what improvement is. My goodness, I'll come to that later. Okay, this is all getting a bit boring. Okay, so why are you here? You don't have to listen to it. Harry is so intelligent and wise. Talk about informative. I need this wisdom when raising my children. At least now my grandchildren can benefit. Harry has taken his book Spare to a higher level of understanding about life obstacle. This is the thing, what it's all about. You learn from him. A lot of things he said doesn't apply to me. But it's good to know what he went through. Perhaps, I don't know, if I happen to experience it, I could know what to do next. Okay, it's like a warning, this kind of thing. So much of what he said described how I have felt losing my only child. Oh my God, so sorry to hear that. I cried, but more later. The disbelief, acceptance, I still, after almost 5 years, pretend he is still alive. I just haven't seen him in a while, still in a coma. Wow, this is deep. This is deep. Let me go into that and see what some people say. Okay, I can answer that question. How would you feel if your kids were being used and abused by a family who wants to use your kids to cover up the harsh mistakes and gross behavior of the other members of your corrupt family? Harry kids aren't scapegoat. That's exactly that. And this is what I'm saying. Harry already experienced it. He doesn't want his kids to go through it.
Suffered. Do everything you can to make sure that whatever negative experiences that you had, that you can make it right for your kids. We chose to put our mental health first. That's what we're doing, and that's what we will continue to do. Isn't this all about breaking the cycle? Isn't this all about making sure that history doesn't repeat itself? That whatever pain and suffering has happened to you, that you don't pass on? And I have no regrets. It's incredibly sad, but I have no regrets at all, because now I'm in a place where I feel as though I should have been 4 years ago.
Okay, those are their children and their right to choose whom they allow in their space, regardless of who family may be. You run your family and household as you see fit, and let them do the same. Their business, not yours. Okay, read the book before getting opinion based on tabloid gossip. Harry is not a hypocrite. On the contrary, he is a brave and true man. Alright, so there's more comment. Let's move on. when you read those comments, you'll be like, my God, these people have a brain. Next tweet. My computer is very slow. It's exactly an hour now. Okay, he looks great. Prince Harry, live spare talk. Okay, he surely does. Very well moisturized. Okay, and looking very smart. That's commercial. At peace, he does. Very handsome. All right, let's go to the next one. I have 2 more regarding the Zoom. Okay, Prince Harry prioritized love and affection while raising Archie and Lilibet. That's exactly that. I'll click on that so you guys could read it. Prince Harry prioritizes love and affection while raising Archie and Lilibet. The royal opened up about fatherhood and a virtual spare event. All right, since I didn't listen to the thing, and it's very short. It's not that long. Let me read the first 2 paragraphs. Prince Harry says he is prioritizing physical affection while raising his children, Archie and Lilibet. During this afternoon's spare live stream event, which the Duke of Sussex hosted alongside Dr. Gabor Mate, the royal opened up about fatherhood and how his own children influenced his decision while parenting his 2 children with Duchess Meghan. At one point in the conversation on living with loss and personal healing, the myth of normal trauma, illness, and healing in a toxic culture, author references a few passages in the memoir where Harry recalled during his childhood when he wished his father, King Charles, and grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, had been more physically affectionate. Okay, so this is the thing that the thread that I just read. She just paraphrase stuff. So she did bring that point on, but she didn't go in full detail because she was live streaming it. Okay, the expert then asked the royal how the lack of physical contact has shaped his current parenting style. Okay, I'll read these 2 last paragraphs. That's it, and you guys could finish with it. Quote, it leaves me in the position how as a father I have 2 kids on my own, making sure that I smother them with love and affection, Prince Harry said, joking that he doesn't smother them to the point that they're trying to get away. But in the sense that as a father feel a huge responsibility to ensure that I don't pass on any traumas or negative experiences I've had. He added, and that's work. That's putting in the work and daily being conscious of my behavior and my reaction to both of my kids. Yeah. Okay. The other one is gonna go on a hugging campaign. All right, let's see. Awesome. And yet, sadly, something he never got from his own so-called father and brother. Both are clowns. Okay, neither of them speak to their families. Some emphasis. I mean, with the kind of abuse that he's getting, both of them, you have one, the sister suing, and you have the father every chance that he gets saying nonsense to the tabloid. So why you trying to get away from those toxic things, and then you have your family going into it? So you just have to remove yourself. This is by what you know yourself for. Okay, Bell family, that's in French. Let me go into that and see what some people say. This family, exactly, the toxic thing here. If I had either of their fathers and siblings, I would have disappeared them all from my life long before Harry and Meghan did. People who lack boundaries are the one first who doesn't understand drop kicking toxic people family from your space. Often such people are the toxic families bitter because they've been tossed. Okay, with a stepsister suing you for $70,000 because her book didn't sell. A brother who sends his common secretary to testify against your wife. That's the thing here, so I don't have to say it. Against your wife in a copyright infringement case. A father who takes money to speak against you and to stop the wedding. Family members can be toxic too. Their kids or their family. End of it. Alright, both have very toxic family. I will not like either the Windsors or the Markles as my family. It's not coincidental. There is a lesson in this. Exactly. Alright, let's go to the next tweet. Still about the Zoom. I'm already past an hour, so I'm gonna squeeze everything.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.